Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So we are at the very end of this year's cut flower season. In fact, we're in a freeze warning for tonight. Now, I think everything in my hoop house should be just fine. So I will continue to have snapdragons and feverfew and dahlias for a while yet. But since we're upgraded to that freeze warning from a frost advisory, I'm just kind of assuming that everything else in the garden will be dead by tomorrow morning, which is fine. You know, it is October 6th today. We're right at our average first frost date. And to be honest, I'm kind of ready for the season to be over, which I'm sure you guys get that way too. I am tired. The plants are tired. My zinnias look super sad. The blooms do from the cold. So it's just time. But with that, I am starting to plan for next year. So I actually went out to the garden today and I harvested a bunch of things to save seed from. So in this video, I want to share with you guys a few varieties of seed that I'm saving for next year and how I do that. So I have everything laid out right in front of me. And as you saw at the beginning of this video, I went and harvested it right from the garden. So a few of the things that I'm saving this year, some flamingo feather celosia. Now this I actually harvested about a week ago and I've just been letting it dry. But I wanted to go ahead and include that in this video too. So with celosia, you can easily tell if the seeds are ready to be harvested. You know, the regular flamingo feather celosia, the blooms are about this long. When they start forming seed, they obviously start lengthening. And right inside of all these little feathery things, there will be little black seeds. In fact, there's some already falling out on the paper towel. So those are ready to harvest. Now, the rest of everything that I have harvested today, I'm gonna let dry for about a week. So the end of this video will actually be a week later, but I harvested a bunch of celosia. And you can definitely tell, oops, I'm kind of moving my paper towels here, and there's seeds already falling out of this too. You can definitely tell those are going to seed because the blooms again start lengthening, you know, from the top. Now the celosia that I grew this year, I grew a mix, which I think has maybe 8 or so different colors. I picked kind of the fuchsia, the orange, and the white that are out in the garden just to save from. The other thing that I grabbed were bells of Ireland. I've never saved seed from bells of Ireland before, but I mean, clearly these are drying out. So I thought, you know, why not? I will just try to pull some seed from this. Bells of Ireland also, from what I have heard, will self-seed and come up the next year. So I may not even have to save seed from this, but I just kind of thought it would be fun. Honeywort is something super easy to save seed from. In fact, I have a whole bunch saved that I'll show you guys. But honeywort, you can easily tell where the seeds are. Right on the end of the plant, you kind of pull the leaves back. And there's the big black seeds right in there. So you can just literally pick the seeds off. But I just cut the plant and I'm just gonna let these dry. Then the other thing that I'm saving are zinnias. Now, you'll notice I have organza bags on these. These were 2 particular blooms that I saw out in the garden this year that looked different than my other ones. And I really liked the color, and so I thought that I would try to save the seed. So I bagged them, hoping that a lot of the seeds that I plant next year will come back looking like this actual bloom. So the first one was from my Queen Lime area. It was in the patch of Queen Lime Orange, but the bloom, instead of orange, it was more of a mustard color, and it had a deep mustard colored center. And I really, really liked it. So that is that one that I bagged. And then this one was from my Bennery's Giant Patch, and it was in with either the corals or the purples, but or maybe the wines. But instead of being like a deep wine or a purple, it had more of like a fuchsia. It was like a cross between those, and I just thought it was a really different color, so I went ahead and bagged that. So these clearly are dried out, ready to pull apart, but I'm gonna let these dry inside for a week with these because we did just have a bunch of rain, and I want to make sure that they are good and dry before I save the seed. That's one thing about saving seeds. You got to make sure that they're dry before you pack them away. So the second part of this video that you will be watching will actually be a week later, once I have let these sit out and dry for a week just to make sure we get all of the moisture from the rain out of here. And then I'm gonna show you close up how I actually take the seeds out of these plants and save them away for next year. All right, you guys, so I'm back. It has been exactly 1 week since I harvested all of these from the garden, and I'm getting ready to extract the seeds from them. I'm going to move the camera in closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Again, I have a couple types of Celosia. I have the honeywort, and I actually brought in some honeywort seed that I've had drying for quite a while to show you guys that as well. I have a couple zinnias, and then the bells of Ireland. And actually, I'll show you this, but a bunch of this Celosia has dried so much, the seeds are literally covering the paper towels. So that's going to be a real easy one to save. And to save these, I'm simply storing them in a white paper envelope. I think this is a 4x6 size. You can order off of Amazon and different places seed packets, but if you have extra envelopes laying around, go ahead and just use those. I have labeled them with what I am saving, and then I also put the year on there because I always want to know what year I harvested the seed, because some seed lasts longer than others. Gosh, I can't talk today. So anyway, I'm going to move the camera in closer and let's start harvesting this seed. Okay, so the first one we're going to start with is this honeywort, and that is clearly dried and ready to harvest. Now, I did grab the honeywort that I have been saving for quite a while, and what these seeds look like, there's a few of them just laying here on the paper towel. They are very large black seeds. And honeywort I found this year was very easy to start from seed. One thing I discovered is that you don't want to put it on a heat mat. Just start it without heat and it'll come up really, really easy. I had probably about 100% germination. So this is going to be as easy as just grabbing the seeds and placing them in the envelope. So basically, I'm just going to kind of crumble the leaves. Now, when people process seeds like large scale, they will jump on them, hit them with something, drive over something. But when you're doing a small scale operation like this, you can kind of just crunch it with your fingers and then the seeds literally fall out. See? There's quite a few right there. All right, so all of those are the honeywort seeds, and I will go ahead and extract everything from this pile as well. But that's basically it. Kind of crumble it, the seeds fall out, and you put them in the envelope. I will be licking this shut and sealing it, and I will store this in my plastic seed packet bin, which will be at a cool area, not in direct sunlight, and these will be great till next year. All right, let's move on to the bells of Ireland. Now these you have to be a little careful with because underneath each area of flowers there are a bunch of spikes that will get you pretty good, but the seeds are inside the little bells. And so with these, I just kind of want to rip the bells open. The seeds will fall out. And here's what these seeds look like. They're just little brown. They kind of almost look like little triangles. There's about 4 seeds in the bottom of each little bell. All right, so here's a bunch of bells of Ireland seed. Those are easy to harvest too. And you can even see them right down in the bell. The little dark dot that's way at the bottom, that's the little grouping of seeds. All right, let's move on to this Celosia. Now clearly, this has done the work for me. This is so dry, it's falling out. Usually what I will do is I'll just shake it. Can you see all that seed falling out? You can kind of tap it with your finger. I mean, this is just literally tumbling out. To me, Celosia is probably one of the easiest seeds to save. So now from here, I just kind of lift the paper towel up to get it all in the middle. And then I will pour all of this seed right into my envelope. And that is going to definitely be enough for an entire season next year. The flamingo feather Celosia is the same process. Just shake it and they'll fall right out. All right, let's move on to the zinnias. This has been bagged since I spotted the color of the bloom, and it is nice and dry. And this I need to actually pull the bloom apart. So I'm just gonna go in and pull all of the petals out. And right at the end of the petal here, these are the seeds, these little pointy things. So you can just kind of separate them from the petals. Sometimes they will separate themselves. And honestly, just for this color to try out, this little handful is probably the perfect amount. Okay, let's do this mustard zinnia. Now this one is much smaller because this came from the Queen Lime series. But basically you do the same thing, you pull the petals off. Now this one is pulling apart just a little bit different, and it's probably because it's a smaller flower. This, I'm actually going to be taking this head apart because the seeds are not on the end of the petals. So if you kind of pull that head apart, part of this is chaff and part of this is actually seed. So these are seeds, but the little kind of light colored, more stringy pieces, that is all chaff. So I just want to kind of separate these and only get the seeds. See all of this? Well, there's a couple seeds in there. Most of this is all chaff, so I will just throw that away. Now zinnias are all cross-pollinated. So all of these seeds that I plant from this mustard zinnia will not come back all mustard. But that's the really fun thing about saving the zinnia seeds. You'll just get a mix, and then that's how you find new varieties. If you watch Flora, that's what she does, and that's how she's discovering all these new varieties of zinnias. Okay, so all my seeds are in my packets. These are going to go into my seed storage, and they'll be ready for when I start everything in my seed trays next spring. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I hope this inspired you to maybe save some seeds from your garden to not only save on costs, but if you're doing cross-pollinated varieties, maybe you could discover some new varieties of your own. So anyway, stay tuned for a lot more yet this season. I'm still harvesting flowers from the hoop house, so I'll probably show you those soon, and I have a few projects I'm doing yet this fall, so I'll make sure to share that with you as well. So stay tuned for all of that. We'll see you soon.